Hello and welcome to an XtoSkip discussion, everybody. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and we are back from a long time. With me are Kojo and Tommy. How are you guys doing?
Yes, sir. Your boy Tom Ziri, feeling good, feeling nice. Yeah.
Kojo.
I'm in so much pain.
That is unfortunate, but let's see how much pain you'll be in after this discussion. So, everyone, we are going to be talking about Dr. Disrespect. With him having recently made a comeback of sorts, or attempting to make a comeback of sorts, it's brought up the question for us of how exactly is he going to see this through? Because if you saw, when he first made his announcement, he put up a picture on Twitter/X of himself playing chess against somebody else playing checkers. Then, with time, he put up on his what the hell is that thing called? You know, that picture on your page which goes next to your name. Like a display picture, but it's not for your profile, it's for your
The
page. What
header.
the hell is it? Header? That's the word. Yes. On his header, he put up a picture of, like, you know, that thing of when you go fishing, the bait thing, which bobs on top of the water or underwater. He put that. And then a couple of days after, he expanded the image to show that the bait in the water is basically his Twitch ban thingy. So basically, he's trying to give the illusion that he's baiting people and they took the bait. That's the supposed imagery going on here. So at the time of recording, by the time this comes out, maybe he would have expanded on the imagery he's been putting out. But while we're in this situation, here today, as you join us, we're going to play devil's advocate. Or maybe not even devil's advocate. We're just going to objectively look at his situation and look at how he's trying to make a comeback and discuss what we think about it. So specifically, there are going to be 5 points we are going to go over. And if there's a point I mentioned that you are particularly interested in, this discussion has chapters. You can jump to the chapter you want to hear. Otherwise, you can stick with us throughout the entire discussion and also give your opinion in the comment section below about what you think about his situation. So specifically, the things we're going to discuss is, number one, what are each of our general thoughts on Dr. Disrespect before and after the allegations? Basically, we'll be answering if we look at him differently or what. Number two is, do we think he'll be successful in making a comeback? Number three is, who do we think will even follow him or work with him right now, as he's had a lot of people distance themselves from him? Sponsors, brands, even other content creators. Then number four is, should he even be trying to return, or would it be better for him to quietly disappear into the internet archives? And number five, the final question, and the one I'm most interested about to hear from these guys, is, if Dr. Disrespect is to succeed post the allegations, what do you guys think he must do to turn things around? Cool. So with no further ado, let's get into things. So we're starting with the first question. Guys, what are your general thoughts on Dr. Disrespect before the allegations and after the allegations? Tommy, I'm going to nominate you to start us off.
Kind of, yeah. Calm. Right. So general thoughts of who he was before. I never really liked his energy because I think when I was still signed to Logitech, there was someone I worked closely with who embodied man's energy, and I was just like, ish, nah, I don't know, man.
Embodied in what sense? Like, as in you're saying he followed Dr. Disrespect and would do similar
100%.
things.
Yeah, personality wise, like when we try to make videos and shit. So it's just like, I don't know. I like he caters to the young peeps, the higher testosterone level pubescent teens. And so to see like grown ass men doing that shit is weird, bro. It's just odd, like replicating that. And then after everything, I was just like, I'm not surprised. I'm amazed it's this though. I would have thought it's something else completely. Because looking at who he hangs out with, like Tim the Tap Man, Nick Merckx sometimes, well, yeah, really sometimes with Nick Merckx, Ninja and all that, I would have thought it's like some kind of homophobic type shit. But this, dude, never expected it because he's got a daughter, So yeah.
To comment on that, I saw a YouTube post where on a video about Mr. Beast's situation and all of that, where somebody was like, I miss the days when influencers would get cancelled over being racist.
Yeah, not like this hectic shit, bro. Flip.
Yeah, we've evolved a long way. All right. And then your thoughts on him post allegations? Has anything changed?
No, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like hectically surprised, but the only thing that kind of bothers me is like that it's this, that happened on it, and the fact that he has a daughter, So like, how's this going to affect his family life?
That's a good question. I think his wife still hasn't made any public statements up till now. So maybe they're dealing with it internally and she's not going to speak up at all.
We'll see.
All right. So on my side, I'm in a similar vein as you. I've never liked his energy to begin with. He comes off as obnoxious. Him and his whole gimmick thing where it's just like, yeah, bro, what are you doing? Like usually when you guys know, and listeners who have been with us for a while probably also know by now, that I'm not big on the whole content creator stuff, streaming stuff, where there are not that many people I know or even understand what they do. And when I say understand, I don't mean as in, oh, I don't know what their content is about. I mean as in I've never watched their content to know how they carry themselves and how they go about things. Stuff usually bleed into my line of sight through YouTube shorts and crap like that. But Dr. Disrespect always came off as some annoying douchebag. And that's as far as I ever thought about it, where I've even had conversations in the past with Kojo asking, why the hell does anybody even like this guy? Like, what, when you're watching him, what are you watching him for? If maybe he's very good at video games, I could understand that some people are like, I don't like him, but because he slays, I'm going to tolerate all that other stuff because the way he plays, I wish I could play like that. Or the way he plays, I learned something from it. Or the way he plays is entertaining, something like that. But if it's just the personality thing that garners him followers, I don't get it. Then post allegations, I look at it as, nothing has really changed. The only thing that has changed is I just feel justified to be like, yeah, this guy came across as scummy. And you and me, Tommy, do this with a lot of content creators where we just look at them and are like, don't vibe with this person's energy. And lo and behold, time goes to show that we were kind of correct on the person. So Kojo, close us off on this topic. Where do you stand previously and currently on Dr. Disrespect? And I purposely kept you for last because you're the one who doesn't like providing your opinion on situations.
Well, I never had a problem with this character. I mean, the Guy Beam, the guy. So his name is Guy Beam. And then there's Dr. Disrespect, the character. I always differentiated it. So his character never bothered me. Never, I knew he was just playing a role. So I didn't find him obnoxious. I didn't find him an asshole. He was just acting. What more is when I'm watching a movie or a TV series, it's someone playing a role. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're an asshole for playing this character. It's a character.
But then let me ask you this with regards to that. Don't you ask yourself, like, what type of psychosis comes up with this type of character?
I don't think it's psychosis. I think it's just like he's just envisioning. I'm not envisioning. He's just probably portraying himself as the toxic, not toxic, but I've seen more toxic people than him. Then he's just portraying himself as like a gamer, but what the stereotypical people will see as a gamer. So someone who's over the top, someone who is loud, brash, all of that stuff. I don't think he's demented in playing this role in the mind. I don't think so.
Okay, that's interesting. For me, I looked at it more like a window into his personality.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'll just see clips. My brother and I will also see clips, and some of these clips were genuinely funny. Like some of the things he do were genuinely funny, and some of the situations he find himself in. And this next point is not so much him, but so much everything else around him. I always admired the production value of his streams, of his content. Like just watching his streams, watching before the stream starts, the intro, when the stream is happening, how it's happening, like the production value, it's just incredible. Like it's better than just watching someone. Like there's nothing wrong with watching someone play a game and sit there, but he makes it an event and he makes it a spectacle. And I always appreciate it. Same thing with Kai Cenat, where he goes all out for his streams. I appreciate that. Now, afterwards, again, I didn't really have strong thoughts on it. It was just one of those things of, oh, another one. That's a shame. Because I mean, we've been seeing these like I haven't been sending them to you, Tommy, but I'll send them to the group, to Maxwell and someone else, where it would be like, oh, an anime creator has been caught, with CP, or what's it called? They did something with kids, like constantly. I think I've sent like 3 or 4 of these headlines this year so far. And when it happened to Doc, I was like, I thought the only controversy you were going to be in was with you cheating on your wife. I thought you were done. After that, you had your controversy limit, but I guess not. Well, when I say controversy limit, I don't mean like the number of height.
Yeah, no,
but
I guess, yeah.
I guess I forgot that there's diddling kids. Not diddling. He didn't diddle kids. Let me not say that. I guess there's, being inappropriate with someone over text or over whatever. I forgot that was a thing that could happen. But again, it didn't really shock me. I wasn't like, oh my God, what? It was just more of like, one, how, like, just not even one. It's just like, how dumb can you be? Like, how dumb can you be? And like, I'm not saying if this is gonna sound bad. This is gonna sound like I'm saying if you're gonna do such things, don't do it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, one, don't do such things. 2, what on Twitch, my guy? Really? That's what you're gonna do your bit on Twitch? Really?
I think that happened because he thought the Twitch conversations were private. He didn't know they get read. I think.
If that's the case, then he's a dumbass. He's a dumbass.
For me, I can understand where he's coming from, because you would assume that conversations should remain private. However, with that said, me personally, I only assume conversations are private when the platform I'm having a conversation with is specifically for having conversations with, like, WhatsApp. What's the other one called, which was rivaling WhatsApp at a point? I forget
Telegram?
What the hell it's called. Telegram, that's the one. Yeah, things like WhatsApp, Telegram, Vibe, whatnot. When the platform is focused on have communication, I'm like, yeah, I can expect that. I'm assuming I should have privacy. But if it's a platform which is focuses on something else, but it also has communication functions, I'm like, nah, these guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to assume they're seeing what I'm doing. Like, how Facebook has the entire scandal of they read through your Facebook messages and stuff like that, so they can tailor ads to you and all of this different thing. And also they sell your information. So that's why I was like, I can understand where it's coming from. It's a naive mistake to make, but I can understand the mistake.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think on a public platform, I think Asmongold also said the same thing, that you are delusional if you think, it was Moist critical. I think it was both of them. I think it was more Moist. It's like you're delusional if you think that your messages are not being watched. No, it was Asmon, because Asmon was really harsh on one of his viewers. It's like you're delusional if you think your messages on such a platform are not being monitored. And I agree. I'm like, bruh, like there's no way. There's just no way. And it's the same thing with, remember Atriarch Tummy? I know Max will not remember, no offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I have no idea who the hell that is.
remember, he's the guy who was caught watching deep fake videos of his fellow content creators.
His wife.
Yes.
It's the same thing. I was talking to a friend about this also over the past week, and it's the same thing. And it's like, why you do, like, he did it on his personal, no, not his personal, sorry, on his main computer, his streaming computer. You were caught red-handed on your stream. Why are you doing such thing? Don't be a dumbass. Like, again, I'm not saying if you're going to do such things, just think.
Nah, if you're not gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. If you're gonna do such thing, cover your ass. Because no, I get where you're coming from. Because if you're gonna be watching deep fakes, you might as well have a secondary laptop or a secondary something where the public doesn't have access to that. So if you have, what's the word, scum, scats, whatever the thing is, you can destroy the evidence easily. It's not attached to any other thing.
Anyways.
But yeah, I think I've said my piece on that one area.
All right, so I guess we can move on to the next question, the second question, which is, as a reminder to you guys, do you think DrDisrespect will be successful in making his comeback? And in this area, let me start us off by saying, personally, I don't think he's going to be successful. The reason why I don't think he's going to be successful is because unless he genuinely has a defense for his actions, with him teasing all this master tactician, baiting people and stuff like that, unless that is true 100% on the nose, then he's not going to walk away from this, regardless of how big he is, because in the court of public opinion, you've been found guilty and people are not going to move on from that. And from what I've seen, looking at society, the minute you're guilty in the court of public opinion, that's your career done. Unless you're in a career where it's a boys' club, where your peers can still keep your career alive because they hold the power, they hold sway, and they can still get you gigs and opportunities. Unless you're in one of those, you're not going to survive. A good example of that is Kevin Spacey. Is that his surname, Spacey?
Yeah, Spacey.
Yeah, he's an example of, we thought this dude had been cancelled, and he's on a comeback tour where celebrities are actually coming out defending him. And we know Hollywood is a boys' club where it's tight circles. It's about who you know, it's not a meritocracy in Hollywood. Sometimes a few people get away with the whole meritocracy thing and they manage to become famous based on their performance. But most of the time it's who you know, who you're related to, who you can suck off, and different things like that. But in the content creator space, there isn't powers that be who are controlling the space, controlling the entertainment, controlling what the audience gets to engage with. Basically, who's important is a flow of time. It's always constantly changing, where one moment PewDiePie was the biggest person. Then the next moment, I forget who's the biggest poet. Then we had Mr. Beast, who is currently the biggest moment, but we're right now seeing his spiral. And even if he stays big or he falls off, there will be somebody else who comes in after him who's going to take over the mantle. You cannot stay on the throne forever. Somebody eventually dethrones you. So in this space, what I've seen in general, actually, when you're found guilty in the court of public opinion, is that some people try to continue with their content and try to ignore what's going on around them. Case in point, the completionist. But you can see their numbers are taking a hit. And when your career was your livelihood, you didn't diversify your portfolio, this was your main thing, things don't really work out for you and you have to move on. Whether or not you like it, you have to move on. Another example is EDP. How much that guy tried to stick around but failed to because people weren't having it. And that's what I think the direction is going to go with DrDisrespect, where his numbers are going to fall off. And as his number falls off, the people watching him are going to grow up or going to move on to other content creators. So his numbers will continue to diminish. Who knows at what rate that will take place, but it will happen. And that's why I'm like, yeah, he can try and fight fate, but it's not going to pan out the way he thinks it's going to. He will be eventually swept under the carpet and forgotten like an old relic. That's my prediction of the situation. I just don't know how long it's going to take, whether it's going to be a few months or a few years. But yeah, so I'll pass the baton on to Kojo. What do you think?
There was back in 2021, before KSI and when they were just becoming cool with each other, Logan Paul invited KSI to his podcast for the first time. This was in 2021, and I watched that. And they got onto the topics of being cancelled. And KSI was like, "Dude, you can never really be cancelled." And Logan Paul made it. He was like, "Hey, look at me. Are you sure about that?" And KSI was like, "No, look." He sees being cancelled as sort of like a long vacation. It's like, oh, someone tells you can't be together. Like in terms of content creating, it's like, oh, you've been cancelled, you can't come back. But then he did go on to say that there were certain scenarios in which there's no coming back from reading. The first one was like pedophilia, anything to do with that. And I kind of agree that, because if you look at it, people have come back from cheating allegations. Atriok has made a comeback from his thing with the deep fake.
You see, I want to argue against that because I completely see the vision in that argument. I completely see it. But my counter argument to that is things coming back from like cheating and stuff like that. The only person you're wronging, it's like, who exactly are you wronging? Why are you being cancelled? If you're being cancelled for being unfaithful, nobody's perfect. Society isn't going to judge you for cheating on your spouse, partner, whatever. If you're looking at Norp, again, or Prawn, however you want to flip around the letters, society is not going to judge you harshly because a lot of us already do those things. So I feel like if you were like a kid, squeaky clean type of person, and then this comes out, and then that's when it's like a long vacation. But then if it's proper, society doesn't like that type of behavior. If you sexually assault somebody or be inappropriate, things that society frowns upon, that's why I'm like, nah, you can't come back from that. That's not a long vacation. And I know you just said KSI says there are levels to this thing, but I don't want to say that levels to this thing. I want to say that different categories, that two categories. One's where you're going against things society considers taboo, and then another one where it's just like, hey, that's human nature. So when you screw up in human nature type of stuff, I think you can always come back. It's a long vacation. But when you screw up in things society frowns upon, I don't see any coming back from that. But continue.
Okay, I think I have a counter argument, and I'm going to give you did something and has sort of made a comeback. Remember Vitali?
Ah, yeah. Do you really think he's made a comeback?
I'm going to go on Kick right now and see if he's streaming. Last I checked, he's averaging 15 upwards K upwards. So in my opinion, I think that's a comeback, dude.
Okay, so I would say when it comes to Vitali, him making a comeback, I'll say one, what were his original numbers compared to his current numbers? Like, let's say he was making 500,000 and now he's making 10,000. I wouldn't really say that's a comeback. But then if he was making 30,000 and then now he's making 15,000 or 20,000, then yeah, I think, yeah, it hasn't really hurt him. So what are the old numbers compared to the current/new numbers? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, are you able to function with that as your source of livelihood, with that as your livelihood? So if we say previously, before you got cancelled, this is how you made your money, this is how you made your living. and then you get cancelled, you disappear for a while, and then you come back and you come back to doing that stuff. If you return to, you can make a living off of that, then I'll agree, yeah, you haven't been cancelled. But if it's not keeping you afloat and there are other things you have to do to stay afloat, then I'll be like, nah, I'm sorry, but you have been cancelled.
You see, the second one I can't speak to because I'm not him, so I don't know.
And also, I don't think we necessarily know the numbers you have to be averaging to be financially good with Kick, because I think if it comes to Twitch and if it comes to YouTube, we can easily make an educated guess of, yes, is this person getting by, or nah, is this person struggling through? But Kick, I don't think we're that familiar, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you got these red pill dudes who go on Kick because other platforms don't necessarily swallow what they're saying. But as far as I can tell, with these red pill dude, Kick is not their only source of income. They like having courses or selling merch or selling something, because Kick is not enough. Like, there was a particular person who's on Kick who got banned from YouTube and went on Kick, and they were complaining that the Kick revenue is not good enough for them to stay afloat, that when they were on YouTube they were doing so much better, yet their numbers are similar.
No, I hear you.
So I have questions about Kick.
No, so do I. But I don't know. Like, clearly he seems to be working for him so far. I mean, he hasn't. Again, he's not going to come out and say, "Hey guys, I'm hurting for cash." But
yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I say all of that. The levels to this. To go back to DrDisrespect. Can he make a comeback? Wait, that's the next topic, right? That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can he be successful in returning?
Here's my thing. I think, as my gold says, yes. I think his first stream is going to be incredible in terms of numbers.
I sort of agree with that. I think his numbers on his first stream will be good. I don't know how good they're going to be. I don't know if it'll be incredible or whatnot, but I do agree that he'll pull numbers for his first stream, just because of the whole morbid curiosity thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna say no, because usually averages like what, 25 to 30. I'm gonna say north of 60K. I'm gonna pull.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they might not stay for the whole stream. They'll probably just stay for like the first 30. See what he does. See what he says. And then once he starts like playing a game or whatever, then they'll dip. But like if he's gonna address things, everybody wants to be there for that. And you're gonna have Twitch streamers watching his stream, Kick streamers watching his stream, YouTubers watching his stream, just to see what he does or what he says. It's gonna be crazy. Now, after that, that's when I don't know. I think, you know what? I think he will have. I don't know if this is going to touch. I don't know if I'm touching on the next topic, but I think he will have his core that will follow him. Still, I've seen it on Twitter. People are like, when he tweeted that first tweet, when he said all the things, and then he said he's going on a break, whatever. There are people in the comments, firm handshakes. That's his catchphrase. Firm handshakes to the Champions Club. That's what he calls his fans, the Champions Club. And people are like, oh, firm handshakes, Doc. We'll see you when you come back. Hey, we can't wait to hear your side of the story fully when you come back. Hey, man, there will be people who will watch him, and there will be people who will support him. Always, always, always. So he might not hit the numbers that he used to hit, but I think he can ride it out.
So you think the numbers will be good enough for him to say, okay, I can still continue content creation?
Yes. And I feel like it just hit me now. He might not. Like, it'll probably get to a point where he will like slow down his streams. But
then what would he turn to? Because having lost sponsors and whatnot, it's like, how is he going to be making his money?
That's my next. We're going to talk about people supporting him in another topic, right?
Yeah, that's the follow-up topic.
Yeah, so I'm not going to touch on that now. So I'll just say, you'll be surprised. But yeah, so just to wrap up before we head to Tommy, I think his first stream incredible numbers. He should savor that first stream whilst he can. Following that, dip lower than he used to get. How long it's gonna last? How long his career is gonna last? That I don't know. But yeah, that's
the
my
part that really interests me.
yeah.
But
That's my
right
thoughts.
now, tell me, where do you stand?
See, now you guys have already mentioned all the important parts in any case, but yeah, just touching on what Kojo said, in the sense that, because I also saw the Asmongold part, in the sense that at first, when he returns, obviously, like, he's going to get a lot of numbers, and I do agree that there's going to be a dip at some point, because, yeah, obviously at the start, people are going to want to get an opinion of who he is now that he's come back, right? And then it's either gonna end up being, well, this is, yeah. Okay, what I want to say is pretty much for the next section, but yeah, just agreeing with Kojo, technically. Yes.
Okay. So let's jump to the next section then. And that question was, who do you think will even follow him or work with him now? And I'll let Kojo begin this one because I'm curious to hear what he has to say. And then tell me, you can go after him when he finishes his part. Because for me personally, I'm clueless in this regard. And I'd like to pick you guys' brain on this. So Kojo, feel free to start us off.
I think his first year, probably nobody. If he continues for a second year onwards, I feel like there'll be a few people who would come out of the woodworks to sponsor him.
Why do you think that?
It depends. Okay, it depends on his numbers. If his numbers are too good to pass up, I feel like there's certain people who will come out and, because I don't like. Yes, there probably will be a chance where I feel like all these people. I feel like this all hinges on how well he does. That's my point. You see what I'm saying to say? This next question hinges on how well he does. So let's just say he does really well. I don't see a world where he'll go through the rest of his career being successful without at least one person or one thing sponsoring him. At least one. I don't see. That would be crazy. Like, I know nobody wants to touch him, but give it a year or two. I feel like there'll be at least one sponsor. And when it comes to content creators, that less of a chance, because content creators, like with companies, people are going to be like, oh, you're supporting that guy, you know, why are you doing that? I'm boycotting. When does boycotting a company work?
Very rarely. Sometimes, yeah, there's a point where you become too big to fail, where the only thing that's going to make you fail is your own inability to market your product.
That's my point. You see, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If a brand wants to work with him, people are going to be like, oh, dude, how can you do that? Boycott. They're still going to buy their products. That, you know. But when it comes to content creators, that's a different story. That one is because I feel like with content creation, your reputation is almost everything.
Yeah, but you yourself are the brand.
Exactly. So if you associate yourself with someone, that's why people are dropping. That's why Mr. Beast dropped, you know, Chris Ava Tyson.
No, Mr. Beast is the number one person when it comes to, if there's anything off about you, he's gonna drop you like it's hot. Yeah. I think Ava Tyson is like, I think the third or fourth person he's dropped.
Yeah. And it goes like, even with Dream dropped certain people. I remember when OTV, offline TV, had a bunch of cheating scandals. They distanced themselves from the person who did the cheating. You know, like, so that's what I'm saying. When it comes to content creators, I feel like I'll be surprised to see who will come back to play a game with them, or to, you know, I don't think content creators, there might be one, but I think he's going to be on his own for quite some time. I think brands will come and work with him.
And it'll be a question of whether or not he can ride that storm.
Exactly. So.
Okay. I can see that. Tommy, what about you?
Yeah, so I also agree with what you and Kojo said, but I think another thing you have to think about is with most of these people who are air quote cancelled, they usually end up in podcasts. You know, podcasts seem to be the way to go there after the fact because it's just then your voice and when Doc speaks in his natural Guy Beam voice, you know, he can pass off as pretty much anyone, and use that as a platform to start again, and then drop the whole Dr. Disrespect persona. And
Yeah,
you know,
I was about to ask just that right now. So, for you, for him to succeed is to completely rebrand.
yeah, like that's the only way that he possibly can. That's the only way people will still be able to work with him. He'll still get sponsors somewhere down the line, not immediately, obviously, once the heat has died down and companies in the future don't necessarily care too much about a digital footprint, right?
All
But
right,
they're
but let me
just,
ask you this now.
yeah.
The sponsor side, I can see how that works. But then how about the follower side? Who exactly will be his audience?
So at the moment right now, we have the people like, you know, Nick Merck saying, yo, fuck the haters, you know, this, they don't know the truth. They're just trying to shoot you down. Anyone who has that type of mentality is likely to follow. So I mean, we've seen some of the Dr. Disrespect diehard fans throwing away their Dr. Disrespect merch and all that. But, you know, we still have MAGA, you know, those hectic, KKK, Trump supporters and all them, and all them shit, some typical type of people that will still be like, I fuck my cousin, I don't give a shit, or some shit like that. And yeah, they just fucking still follow Dr. Disrespect for the chaos, bro.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. So for me, hearing what you guys have to say, I'm still baffled about who would follow him and who he could work with. But hearing what you guys have had to say, I could see things working out for him if he was to rebrand and given time. If he was to rebrand to like Red Pill type of content, I could see him managing to amass a following. Because I saw a Nasman Gold clip where he was looking at Dr. Disrespect and how he is behaving after he put up that tweet of the picture of himself. And Dr. Disrespect was doubling down, where people are trying to make fun of him in the comments and stuff like that. He was not backing off, not apologizing, making jokes out of things and stuff like that, and basically belittling the seriousness of things. I don't think that type of energy is going to get him far. But if he veers off into the manosphere type of niche, I think maybe he can survive. Like if he goes into that core group of people who follow your Sneeko, your, what the hell is the other guy called? Why do I keep forgetting these names? Yet I'm the one who dislikes them and I bring them up. What's the other guy called who hangs with Sneeko?
Aiden Ross?
Mm-mm.
No, Aiden Ross doesn't fuck with Sneeko.
This
Who hangs
dude,
with Sneeko?
yeah, like he looks like a parasite.
Neon.
Yes, that's the one.
He looks like a parasite. Jesus Christ. Fuck.
Well, the fact that you mentioned his name after
No. Here's the thing. No. His name popped up in my head right before you said the parasite. So, just putting that out there. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so if he goes into that niche, that space, I think he can actually make it. That's where I can see people working with him, content creators working with him and stuff like that. But then that also comes down with him having to rebrand. And I don't know if Dr. Disrespect is willing to rebrand. Like, it's a question now of, will his ego allow him to rebrand? Because rebranding, doesn't that, to some extent, isn't that admitting defeat?
No, they're gonna see it as like lifting the veil, so to speak. You know, like milk it for its Hollywood type acting, where it's just like, y'all know the innocent face behind the persona, Guy Beam really is compared to the Dr. Disrespect persona, because the fan was interacting with Dr. Disrespect, not Guy Beam. It's going to be some stupid shit like that. So I agree with you that it was like Sneeko and Neon definitely is the type of audience that will follow Dr. Disrespect. But yeah.
Yeah, because also those guys, their audience and following is not that big, so they're always clout chasing and willing to grab onto somebody with larger following and work with them in hopes of some of that crowd is going to come back to their own. But I just want to point out where you mentioned Hollywood. I like that you mentioned that because it reminded me of something about the different attitude towards fallen heroes. And I read an article years ago where it was comparing British versus American attitudes to like doping in athletics in the Olympics. And it's kind of timely since the Olympics going on right now. But it was a piece that was talking about how in the UK, if you're caught for doping, that is your career done, completely destroyed, because nobody trusts you. You've ruined the sanctity of the sport, and nobody wants to associate and affiliate with you. Whereas compared to America, when you get caught for doping, you're given your ban, and then more people are excited to watch your comeback because it's like it's a comeback story. You've fallen, you're at your lowest. Let's see if you can come back to the heights you once achieved. And good examples like with you guys remember with like Tyson Gay and other Olympic athletes who got caught for doping, banned, and they weren't disgraced. They came back and their career was just as good, maybe even better. And I think that's the problem with the American appetite, with the American audience, and why Dr. Disrespect could potentially make a comeback. Because Americans love an underdog story. So if Dr. Disrespect puts himself across as an underdog of he is the machine trying to bring me down, there will be those rooting for him, I suspect. So it will come down to how he approaches things. But yeah, after what you guys have said, I can see a potential return for him with people following him. Originally, I wasn't seeing that. So then we go on to the fourth question, which is, should he even be trying to return? Or would it be better for him to quietly disappear into the internet archives? And for this one, I'll put the floor to you guys. Between the two of you, who wants to answer first?
Okay, I'll go. Fuck it. Okay, so I don't know if like for the sake of bills and having to cover school costs and whatnot, I'm sure he's got savings aside. But for him to return, I mean, that was his revenue. I can't fucking remember what he did before he started streaming. I think it was okay. I don't know. But like he seems like the type to still, be well within his rights. Oh wait, actually, that's an interesting question, because now I think he has no choice but to return to streaming, because I don't think companies now, when they do background checks and see that he has an online persona that is known for speaking to minors, I think even in trying to get like a normal job, that's going to be tough. So he's now stuck in this sort of sense. So him coming to return
with his background and whatever savings he had, don't you think he'll most likely start a business as opposed to working for somebody else?
No, that's definitely it, 100%. He can do that, but the thing is, you also lose like you lose the possibility of shareholders, and all that type of stuff, because when they do their research into the business, they will start to see whether or not if it's feasible. Because I mean, if like you're not going to get much support, because people are like, I'm not going to support the business of a fucking registered sex offender or some shit, then like I don't know. So him returning to the thing is good for his sense of getting a salary and still getting bills paid. However, if he was to quietly disappear into the internet archives, I don't think that would actually be the end of him either, because at some point you always have those journalists who are like, where are they now type people. Someone's eventually gonna make content on this guy, or
yeah, they will, but then that doesn't mean he's making any profit off of it.
You don't know, dog. Like, he could easily like get onto Andrew Tate's podcast and say like, yo, Tate, I'm gonna charge you $50,000 for this interview, bro, just so you know. And Tate's gonna be like, cool, whatever the fuck, I'm rich, like, let's do it, Tasha. Because yeah, there's people that are still gonna want to now use him as content. So his best bet is to just quietly disappear if possible. Otherwise, find a way to still earn cash and racks for your family, what remains of it, by returning to streaming. Like either or, dude. Fuck. Like, yeah, that's my take.
See, for me now, I don't think he should be bothering with a return. Like, it goes back to my answer on the first one about, or rather, not the first question, the second question about whether he'll be successful or not. I don't think he should bother returning because I don't think he's going to be successful. So it's kind of like prolonging the inevitable. Unless maybe he has like a plan B where, cool, he knows he's not going to be necessarily successful. So while he's prolonging the inevitable, he can still make a bit of money out of it. And with that money, he can invest it into something else. And that something else he invests in, whatever it is, will have to be something that can ride without his name, face, or brand being attached to it, because his brand is going to ruin that thing. Like, for example, let's say you do an Asmund goal and open up a PC store. So your store should have nothing to do with you, as opposed to, hey, this is the DrDisrespect PC store. Come in and check it out. Because that's also one of the things about YouTubers are so stupid, or content creators are so stupid, where you have all of this money, and with that money, you can start business where these businesses can grow and succeed without you. But instead, you decide to attach it to your brand and name. And the problem with that is your brand and name is not gold forever. The shine on it will eventually whittle. And when it does, that's your business going down the drain as well. Because I've seen so many of those YouTube videos where it's like, we test or we try out YouTuber products, where it's like a number of these products have just whittled out and died out because it's like the product came out at the height of a YouTuber's fame or popularity, or when they were trending, and now the product is pointless. If I was a successful content creator and I wanted to reinvest my money out, I would do it in a way where the reinvestment has nothing to do with my brand or face. Because the bigger picture is to make something successful when I get off of YouTube. This thing is still pumping in cash, and it did it without requiring me. As opposed to, oh, I'm stuck with this as my because I'm the face. Now, if I don't continue being a content creator, this is going to die out. That's foolishness. But I say all of this to go back to DrDisrespect to say that I think he should just disappear off into the internet archives. But when he disappears off for the sake of his family, but then again, his wife is still pretty solid. So she's probably still bringing in cash. So as long as that relationship hasn't been ruffled, I actually don't think he's going to be in any dire need of money. Hell, he could probably rely on his wife to start a new business where she also invests in it. So with that, remembering his wife, actually, because I was going to say that whatever plan he should do, he should think about his family and taking care of them. But then I realized that his wife is successful herself. So he can disappear off of into the archives. And if I was him, I would disappear, because why try and fight the allegations and soil your name further when nobody's going to take you seriously? By fighting, you are just making things worse. Whereas quietly disappearing into the archives, everybody's eventually going to move on and forget about you. And because you've got a successful wife and she can continue her business successfully, you just need to be in the background. You can live very comfortably and do well for yourself while being in the shadows. I don't think there's any need for you to be in front of a camera. Because again, EDP comes to mind of trying to fight the inevitable. Like, bro, you just look worse. But yeah, that's my take. I think he should disappear. Kojo, finish off this question for us.
What else is he gonna do? Like,
you see,
like,
I was thinking about the same thing, but then he has a successful wife. He doesn't need to worry about that.
No, but here's the thing. I'm not saying.
Oh, you're not talking monetary. You're talking about
I'm not talking monetary.
What is he doing with his time?
Yeah, what is he gonna do? Sit and twiddle his thumbs? Like,
run a secret business, pursue his other passions.
He'll probably do that on the side now that he has no sponsor. So he probably push something else. But streaming is all he pretty much knows now. And I'll give an example. I'll give Asmongold. Now, Asmongold hasn't been cancelled. There have been a million attempts to cancel him, but yeah, that's beside the point. Asmongold doesn't stream on his main channel. He streams on an alt channel, which is not monetized. And he still streams every day without fail. And I remember XQC said, like, dude, how is he still streaming without, how's he still streaming on his alt account? And then someone on the call with XQC was like, dude, Asmongold, he has other avenues of other revenue avenues, if that makes sense. And Asmongold was like, yeah, the guy's right. No, but he said like, yeah, the guy's right. I just stream because I enjoy it. I like waking up, coming to stream, talking to you guys, hanging out. Same thing with DrDisrespect. He likes hanging out with his champions club and people, whatever. Even if let's say Maxwell, and Tommy, let's say even if he has a business, starts a side business, whatever, he's still gonna come back and stream because that's all he knows. Now, he's been a streamer since how long? How many years? It's in him. Just like how EDP kept on trying to come back to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then it also reminds me of, remember Nigga Higga, where he rode off into the sunset because it's like, nah, I'm not enjoying this anymore.
You know what he's doing now?
What?
He's streaming on Twitch.
Really? Oh, he came back.
Yes. Yeah. He's streaming on Twitch. That's where he gets his money now. He's streaming.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying.
You can never really leave. In order to leave the internet, either you are at that age where like, okay, guys, I think it's time for me to retire, or you get kicked off. But if you're still youngish, dude.
No, because I get what you're saying, where you've been doing something for so long that you are more or less locked into that industry because you don't have any other transferable skill sets. But surely it just makes me think of, you can start up a different passion, or you don't need to exactly stream.
No, it's because like even if we like take OnlyFriends people into consideration, it gets to a point where they may have built like a whole following on OnlyFriends, but then the moment they go to streams, and then the Kumars see them and they like start watching this and this, and then she hints somehow, because remember, you can't blatantly say that you're on OnlyFriends while you're on Twitch or YouTube. Somehow you slip that, like, you do that. Or someone's just bound to just come into your chats and just tell everyone that you have OnlyFriends. By that point, your increase in viewership is gonna flip and be insane, bro, because there's something behind you, behind the camera, that people are so intrigued with, and all that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just to add on to Tommy's point about OnlyFriends, that's a very good example, actually. Amberlamb doesn't need, Twitch or Kick now anymore, but she still streams. She makes more money on OnlyFriends than she does streaming.
Yeah,
but she still shows up to stream. Same thing with Mogpie. Same thing with Adriana Chacha. Same thing
with Amaranth.
I get what you're saying, but then
I said Amberlamp. That's Amaranth.
Oh.
But then my counter argument to that is, those guys are still doing the other thing, is just because aside from them loving it and also that's all they know, nobody is trying to chase them off or don't want to see them. So they are doing it without any drive not to do it. Whereas a DrDisrespect, I could see like maybe his comment section being abusive of, hey, CM, that's child, or other words being thrown at him in the comment section, and then that just being the daily routine of the comment section where people don't let up, and that toxicity just prevails. You'll get tired of it, and then you're just going to fall out of love with what you do, where you're like, yeah, I wish I could continue doing this because it's all I know to do. It's what I enjoy doing, but current circumstances are disallowing me to do the thing that I enjoy. Don't you think it'll be like that? And you would bow to that pressure? You wouldn't fight it? I mean, at the beginning you probably would, but eventually you're like, yeah, this is a downhill battle. And that goes back to other content creators who've been cancelled, where they've tried to ignore the noise and continue doing the thing they only know how to do. Like what's that chick called? Illuminati?
Yeah.
Told you, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
The one who was cancelled?
Yeah.
Yeah, Illuminati. Something like that.
Yeah, where she was having a lot of views, and then she tried to continue pushing through, but it got so bad that she's disabled the comments on her video. And I've watched other videos analyze that, where that's like channel suicide, because your video, one of the most powerful things to recommend your video is the comment section. So if people are not commenting, her videos are not being recommended out because they're seeing that there's no engagement on the video. So like the algorithm's like, this is not worthwhile content, and her views have dropped so significantly that she can't pay the things that she used to pay. Like, she's eventually just going to peter out and disappear, like so many other people have, and that's my expectations of DrDisrespect. And even though that's all he knows, even though he might enjoy it, it's just going to get to a point where he can't continue what he wants to do. That's what I suspect. I could be wrong, but I'm confident enough to put money on it.
Okay. I hear you.
All right. Then we can get to the final segment. And for this one, I will take us off of it. Basically, the last question is, if DrDisrespect is to succeed post the allegations, what do you think he must do to turn things around? So this is me spitballing. Like, here, let's try and be objective of the situation. Let's say, regardless of court of public opinion that he perseveres through, how is he going to manage, given the toxicity, given the more than likely drop in viewership? We've touched upon it across this conversation, and I think the first factor that has to come in is him rebranding. I personally don't think this whole villain arc thing, belittle what people are saying, make jokes out of a situation, ignore it as much as you can, I don't think that's going to work. Being a villain is going to get tiring, and people are going to get bored of a shtick. That's the thing about it. It's just a shtick. And eventually people are going to move on from that shtick. So I think he needs to rebrand. Where does he rebrand to? That's anybody's opinion. But as we've alluded to earlier, I think that rebranding probably has to go into the red pill manosphere spectrum, where he can be making content with your Sneeko, Neon, potentially Aiden Ross, those type of people. Basically the Kick crowd. Because the YouTube crowd and the Twitch crowd are probably going to be like, nah, you too hot for me to even engage with. So if he's also, if he's to be successful, I think he should leverage his wife if their relationship is still intact. In the sense of, depending on how much money he saved, if he saved anything at all, he might be hemorrhaging cash. So his wife can come in, help him out with investing into something on the side, where that something on the side should not be attached to his name. It should be his own thing, where it can succeed regardless of him. And then he can be focusing on content creating, even though it doesn't mean anything. But in the bigger picture of things, I think he has to rebrand. That's how I see him surviving this. Kojo, how do you think? What do you think?
Short of saving children from a burning orphanage or rescuing puppies and kittens from getting euthanized, I don't think he can do anything to remove this from his reputation. I think all he can do is just move past it, or try to move past it, and just tunnel vision, or not tunnel vision, but just acknowledge it once and for all, and just try and move on with your life. Just try and move forward, because there's nothing you can do to change people's mind. Like, what are you gonna do? Undo the messages? And like, you know, this.
Okay. When you say move on, you move on in what capacity though? Move on how?
Just sit down and continue streaming, and just try and just do you. That's what I mean.
So put on blinders like a horse and just keep pushing through.
Well, not blinders. Like I said, address it once and for all, and then, yeah, I guess after that, put on. I guess. You know,
Hmm. I think that's a
because
recipe to a downhill recipe because I think at the
no, it could
beginning it
be.
might work, but when people get bored with you,
No, because the thing is, after a while, people will not forget this,
yeah, they
but
won't.
people can only throw tomatoes at you for so long to the next thing.
oh, 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 oh,
No, no,
oh.
hear me out. Hear me out. No, hear me out. Listen, let's think of controversies that have happened recently.
hmm Okay,
Let's
let's think of
think.
old controversies, ones which
Mhm.
have had time for people to move on, not fresh ones.
Okay, let's see.
How many years ago was EDP?
ADP was a few years ago.
This
Y'all
niggas,
remember Tobuscus?
Yes, but you see, here's the thing about that's a good example. Who the fuck is talking about Tabascus anymore?
Exactly,
hell?
dude. Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying when with throwing tomatoes. Like people can only talk about you like in a like people can only throw like. Here's the thing, Max. What I'm trying to say is that people can only show up to your streams and hate on you, and which is why I said I think I mentioned this to a friend. When he comes back to streaming, he has to put that chat to sub only mode. If he doesn't, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it
But
is.
that's
But,
separate
but
from
then
the
here's
conversation.
my argument to that because besides whoever Tommy mentioned, I have no idea who that is. But I feel like if you disappear off into the internet archive, yes, people will move on because there's nothing to interact with. But if you're constantly trying to be in front of a camera, you're giving something people to interact with, and people will boo you off of stage. Like case in point being EDP, where EDP could have just disappeared into the archives, but because he constantly keeps trying to come back on the internet, people are not having it. Where they're like, "Nah, bro, we are not gonna let you have a moment." But this guy can be an Uber or Lyft driver, and niggas will recognize him and report him, and then
Yeah,
the companies are going to take him off simply because he was trying to make an internet comeback, as opposed to I done fucked up. Let me just disappear. He didn't go down that path. He keep constantly even has what was that? Is it an Instagram account or a TikTok account where he tries and goes viral on those things constantly? So it's like this guy cannot let go. And I don't know if he cannot let go because it's his bread and money, or he cannot let go because he has a complex where he has to have a crowd or he has to have an audience. I don't know what his situation is. But if we're putting DrDisrespect in the same bracket of he's going to push on, he's not just going to quietly go about his business, I don't think people are going to let him.
see, here's the thing with EDP. EDP, the reason why EDP keeps getting bounced is because his accounts keep getting shut down. He tries to make a YouTube, shut down. TikTok, shut down. Instagram, you see what I'm saying? So he cannot make a comeback. Whereas DrDisrespect hasn't been banned off of anything yet.
His YouTube monetization is off. He's
It's
banned
off,
off
but
of.
he's not been banned off the platform.
But then also that is another factor with it. Will his monetization turn back on?
It depends. But anyway, even if he doesn't even if his monetization doesn't come back, from what I understand, or I could be wrong, but when they say his monetization is off, is it that he can't make videos he can't make money from his videos and stuff? Or that even when people directly so what about people directly donating to him while he's live? Is that still
I
a
don't
thing?
think that's a thing because that's part of the whole monetization thing where I think if it's turned off, then any stream of income automatically turns off with that, regardless of having the viewers.
Okay. Let's say I still think regardless of whether he's monetized or not, he's still gonna come back. He's still making he said he knows that he's no longer monetized and he still wants to make a comeback. So clearly the money doesn't really mean much to him now at this point, right?
That is a possibility, but it also could be a possibility that he thinks down the lines it has to eventually turn back on. So
Yeah.
instead of being quiet and losing his following and losing relevancy, he should come back, warm up the crowd, that when things turn back on, he just continues where he left off, as opposed to having to rebuild the empire.
No, that's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. I never thought of it that way. That's a very good point. So That's what I'm saying. Like EDP can't come back. Whereas Doctor, like, even if he tries to make a look, I think DrDisrespect Hail Mary is a kick thing. He hasn't been Kick hasn't said they'll demonetize him or they'll kick him off. They haven't said anything. So
Oh yeah,
if
that
he's
was
hurting
the thing.
so if he's hurting for cash, he would have gone to Kick. But he hasn't made any such announcement. So that's what I'm saying, that if he comes back and just pushes through, people eventually will not get bored or get tired, but they'll just be like, look, we've said he should be off the platform. He's still going. Fuck him. I'm not going to watch him forever. But if he's still going to keep going, I'm not going to waste my energy on this.
I can see that.
You see, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm saying. If he just pushes through like a bulldozer and just keeps going, people are just going to be like, fuck, you know what? I'm not going to watch him, whatever.
We're gonna definitely need to have a part 2 of this conversation, where after some time and we've been able to monitor everything that's going on, and then return to this conversation and speak on it.
Yeah, maybe like a month or 2 after he comes back. And look, it's gonna sound bad, but I'm actually eagerly anticipating his comeback stream. I will be there no matter what.
Okay, Killian.
I love that meme. It's so, but I will be there, and the reason why I will be there is because I'm not going to be there to support him, and I'm not going to be there to hate watch. I just want to see how this is going to go down. I want to see the chats. I want to see his reaction. I want to see everything.
You want to see the tea.
Exactly. Like, I'm not really one for drama. Tommy loves drama, but no offense, Tommy. Sorry to call you out.
I live for it, though. Don't stress.
Like, I'm not really the biggest drama person, but sometimes when there's drama, I'll peek my head out of the, like with the Mr. Beast thing, I'm like, I'm waiting for him. He's probably gonna, side notes, he's probably compiling a 3-hour-long video defending himself right now. So we'll wait and see how that goes. So I'll wait. But then with this DrDisrespect, I'm, oh shit, he was talking to what? Oh damn, okay, let me so I'm low-key invested in this, and I genuinely want to see if he will properly make a comeback, or if after his first stream he's be like, because remember when he said Elden Ring Monday, that tweet, and then he came back for Elden Ring, and he was like, at the end of that stream, he was like, maybe I should take a break, maybe this streaming thing, and he was even saying maybe the streaming thing should be over. Like, he said something along those lines. So maybe after this comeback stream, he'll see that it's not going well, and he'll be like, you know what, I tried. Or he will just keep pushing, which is why I want to see this, because this stream sets the tone for the rest of his career, in my opinion.
I think his second stream will set the rest of the tone. Like the first stream, like you say, the morbid curiosity is going to give a false sense of, hey, I can actually do this. But if people don't get what they wanted from the first stream, they'll be like, alright, we've seen what he's about. We don't need to come back again. But then maybe if the first stream is very exciting, very entertaining and whatnot, then the second stream is also going to be, it's going to have views. That's also another thing. The first stream will probably have to be a banger.
Yeah. He's going to have to, hire magicians or some shit.
Before getting way sidetracked, you have more to say, or we can pass it on to
yeah, no, I think I'm done. I think, what was the question again? Can he make a comeback?
Oh, wow.
No, not if he can make a comeback.
What can he do?
Objectively speaking, yeah, to ensure.
Yeah, so
success.
my thing is just, all he can do is just sit down. Just to wrap up my thoughts, sit down, head to the grindstone, nose to the grindstone, whatever the saying is, and just push. That's all he can do. He cannot undo what he said. He cannot undo what he did. Nobody will erase their memories as soon as he comes like, oh, we forgot what you did because we just did. No, all you can do is just acknowledge it and move. Try and move past it. But yeah, sorry. Anyway, yeah, I'm done.
For me, I think like I agree with what Koja said, but for me, it's also just to put my 2 cents in saying that, like, I think another thing he could get used to while he's like still trying to grind and everything is obviously he's gonna have to tighten up his mods because people will still come and bombard his, chat, saying things and asking things and all this, right? Cancel culture's got to be removed. The cockiness behind the DrDisrespect persona and all the sexual jokes has got to stop, because now people are just gonna be like, oh, that's a pedo joke right there, this and this and this. Like, it'll never end if he. That's why I was recommending he rebrand to like Guy Beam streams or some shit like that, because I don't know, keeping up the hiding behind the persona, I suppose, is still good if he, succeeds. But yeah, I mean, it's not gonna make people forget. I guess it's like I can't remember which one of you said it, but like at some point you're gonna get tired of like constantly throwing tomatoes at a nigga, so yeah, we'll see.
All right, thanks for giving your takes on this matter, and for those listening out there, thanks for listening with us, and we will definitely like to hear you guys' takes in the comment section. Do you think this man can make it back? Are you pleased to see him back? How do you feel about the entire situation? Just let us know your thoughts. We're always engaging with our comments. But otherwise, thanks guys for having this discussion. It's been a long time since we've had one. And here's to the next one. Cheers. Goodbye.